Hi Pisces, how are you? Welcome to January 2018. Thank you guys so much for being here. Instead of doing specific transits at the beginning, I wanted to keep it a little bit softer since I just did annuals and I just kind of wanted to keep it super relaxed. And I just did the reading for you Pisces. And the one thing I really wanted to just sort of put out there as sort of food for thought before we begin the reading is to take a moment to really think about your thinking. That when you find yourself in a specific mindset, separate yourself as much as possible and jump out of your physical body and into your mental body and review and observe back what it is that's going on in here and really ask yourself if that's serving you. And really ask yourself if that's something that I think it's a little bit foreign for you, what's going on in your mind right now. I think there is a little bit of some confusion. I think there is a little bit of just where do I go, And it is kind of such a big question. And if you have been going through some difficult things in your life, whether it is a breakup or a divorce, or whether you have gone through some kind of loss or something like that, you've kind of been forced in the shadows. And Pisces, I don't think really likes the shadows that much. Yes, you're a water sign, and yes, there's a darkness element there, but it's not like Scorpio, right, where they kind of thrive off of it. Like you're a more magical, more dreamlike sign, and you are ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter is optimistic and happy and always is like, this is the best life, let's make this life amazing. And so you're kind of not really feeling that, I don't think. And so be very, very cognizant of how you are thinking and what you are thinking and the motivation behind that thinking, okay? So let's go ahead and get started on the reading. I wish you guys nothing but the best. Thank you so much. Take care. Hello Pisces, how are you? Welcome to your private reading. Not your private reading, your reading for January 2018. Thanks so much for being here. Wow, I've kind of had a weird start to your reading so far. I just had a whole bunch of cards pop out and I'm going to pull them in a minute, but I just want to do one at a time. This one came out on top. 10 of Pentacles. Let's go ahead and just jump right in and get started. Look, you guys are amazing. And you have so much beauty in your life. This is a card essentially of having everything you need. And a lot of you are like, oh, no, I really want to be in a relationship. Or, oh, no, I really need some money coming in. Or, oh, no. No, you guys. This is a card of having everything you need. And it's a card of wealth and riches. And wealth can be measured in so many different ways. And I truly believe that your happiness is all around you. And if any of you are feeling low or feeling sad or feeling a bit down, to start looking at the world in a different way. Tony Robbins had this exercise and I want to just do it. Some of you may know what this is. I want you to pause this video and just take a minute, like 30 seconds to a minute, and just look around the room or the place that you find yourself. And I want you to just see everything that's brown. Just look at everything. Remember as much as you can. Okay? So pause the video, do it. Once you've done it, now I want you to tell me or make a list of everything that's green. Once you kind of go through that process, you're like, huh. And now you look around the room and you're like, wow, there's so much more that's green than I envisioned. I couldn't picture it. I didn't, whatever. Because you were so focused on the brown. And I think sometimes we do focus on the brown or the shit, if you will. Sorry, that's kind of gross, but you know what I mean. Like we focus on the gross, dingy stuff. And you being such a magical sign, You're a card of dream, or a sign of dreams, of imagination, of beauty. But sometimes we just kind of get stuck in that kind of more pessimistic mindset. And for those of you who have found yourself there, it's time to stop. I'm calling you out. It's time to stop. Let's start focusing on the green representing growth and wealth and health and good things. Okay? Because I think it's going to help provide stability, because I have some more cards here and I looked through them and I was like, I really need them to remember what they have. And it's not a bad reading, guys, but I think there's going to be some sudden things that happen that really do change the course of your life, if they haven't really happened already. And for you to be grateful is so important. You know, Ace of Wands is a card of new directions, a card of new beginnings, a card of like, there's beauty all around, and no matter what I want to do, as long as I plant the seeds, I can grow anything I want to grow. It does imply optimism and enthusiasm. It implies a charge and like this drive that you can't even explain where that drive comes from. It's like, I want my life to change and I'm going to change it. You know, it's a card of accepting responsibility and accepting, you know, and holding yourself accountable too, you know. And this is a thing that not only just Pisces, but I think that a lot of signs are really going through, is that holding themselves accountable for things because they've felt so at the whim and at the mercy of the universe. And we're all just so tired of being like in this victim mindset. And we're starting to climb on top of our obstacles and starting to gain control. Like we're climbing that bull and we're grabbing it by the horns. And I think that's really what's happening. But you have to have that faith that you can, and that faith that you will, because you will. Ten of Pentacles promises that you will. Okay? So now we have the sun reverse, and that's kind of why I did that whole little exercise, because the sun reverse can sometimes lead us to the shadows, where we feel more shadowy than we feel more light. And so I do sense a push-pull, kind of like that walking contradiction, you know. And I specifically chose a sun card that has dark shadows, because you must understand the shadows to see the light. Well, you know what, you guys? We've been walking in the shadows long enough, and it's really time for us to just see the light and feel that weight come off our shoulders and to just be happy, you know. And I do feel that, well, let's just go ahead and do the other two that came out. Oops, sorry, they were the wrong way. Four of Wands and the Tower. So this is why I was like, something sudden is happening. And now we have the Ace of Wands. So with some kind of shift in your life, that may seem ominous, or that may seem, you know, like insurmountable. It is absolutely not. You know, we have the yellow here in the Ace of Wands being mirrored by that yellow, or let me do opposite, the yellow umbrella here. You know, like yellow being a color of success and joy and happiness and overall cheerfulness. Okay? And so whatever happened, there are like a million reasons why, at least 10 reasons, 10 of Pentacles, at least 10 reasons why you should be grateful for this new door that's opening for you, okay? I think some of you are feeling a little bit shaky, right? Because a lot of times this Tower can just be like, oh, like what happened? Oh my gosh, now I feel like I don't have my grounding. I don't feel like I have my footing. That's just the way you feel. It's just your perception. 10 of Pentacles is truth, right? You cannot argue with a pentacle, because this is the material. This is what actually is. Manifest, you know? And if you wallow in the shadows for too long, you will manifest the shadows, you know? And Pisces, which is like, I'm thinking of the Pisces in my life. I spent a lot of time over the past week really thinking about the people in my life. And I'm not trying to bias the cards, but from childhood on, and like people that I know that they're a Pisces, or I know they're an Aquarian or whatever. I'm like really trying to think about how they are, their overall essence. And the Pisces are just so, like, they're so sweet and so kind and so giving and so just like self-sacrificing. And a lot of times they don't deserve some of the stuff, you know, because it's like they constantly are in that optimistic place. You know, you are a sign that's ruled by Jupiter as well as Neptune. Jupiter is grand, you know. And so, but again, you have more power, I think, than you realize to manifest wherever your mindset is. So you don't focus on the brown, you focus on the green. And because the brown is the shadows, the green is the light, the green is the growth, it's the nourishment. And so you nourish the things that feed you, you know. And so if you are feeling shaky, which of course, here's the Tower, of course you're feeling shaky and of course you're feeling unsure, there's a desperate need almost to have faith in what you're capable of. And for some of you where if you are feeling like, wow, I really have no idea where I'm going, or I am feeling quite... like I feel like some of you are questioning your I don't know, it's like your power. You're questioning your power. You're just as powerful as everyone else. You know, we're all as powerful. We're all capable of adjusting our frequencies and adjusting our mindsets and adjusting our attitudes. Because you deserve this Ace of Wands. You deserve this Ten of Pentacles. And you are more sturdy than you think. Now I'm just repeating myself. See, Five of Pentacles. Some of you may feel like you are in a place of scarcity. But the Ten of Pentacles in the very center of the reading tells me that you are not. And... like, as generic as this is, sit down and make a list of everything you're grateful for. Sit down and dream about what's possible. Let's put that beautiful Pisces Jupiter to work. What's possible? Let's dream. Let's get fanciful about it. You know, if you could have everything in the world that you want to have, what would it be? Because it's possible. And so when you focus on what you don't have, Five of Pentacles, focus on where there's scarcity and where there's lack. And when we begin to retreat and we begin to isolate, for a Pisces, that can be a precarious situation. It can be dangerous, right? Because sometimes it can lead to some indulgence in, you know, thoughts. Sometimes the thoughts aren't so great. And also Pisces being a water sign can also lead to, you know, indulgence in substances as well. And let's stay healthy because you have that green, that color of nourishment in the center. And you also have the color blue in the center, blue being a color of truth. And blue being a color of purity and intuition. And I think intuitively, a lot of you are experiencing this, like... you know you're on the right path and you kind of know what you're doing, and yet you're doing it anyway, you know. So let's adjust our mindsets to the more productive, okay? For those of you in relationships, you're very unsure of yourself in that relationship. And I think your partner is very unsure as well. And there are some things going on within the relationship where there is a lot of tension and where you are retreating and isolating. And maybe some of you, Pisces, you are swimming away in some kind of way or fashion. You know, you are kind of being elusive. but it's like in response to something. It's in response to that Tower. Oh, beautiful. 3 of Wands. Again, another card full of greenery, you know, and that lush, nourished soil and earth, right? This is a card of possibility. It's a card of opening your mind. You may feel like you're waiting for something to come, and that's okay. I don't see a lot of action for you right now, right? I see inspiration coming, Ace of Wands, but more I see this more, again, as a mindset of life, a mindset of continuance, of soldiering on, you know? And this is a card of like, let's get me to that other hill. Let's get that house being built. Okay, let's build that beautiful mansion on the top of the hill. And that beautiful mansion is, of course, a metaphor for whatever that dream is, you know? But this is like a dream state almost, and there's like that haze there where whatever you wish to imagine, just feel free to imagine that, because everything, it's a law of the universe, absolutely everything must begin in the mind first before it can be manifest in the world. All right, so everything. And I believe that is true in your case. Begin imagining what's possible and what true love looks like and what true love feels like and where you want your career to go and how you want your life to be. I don't know that all of you have had such a dramatic change or such a dramatic shift in your life, but the Tower definitely represents some kind of change, okay? And in response to that change, optimism is your best friend, to put a smile on your face in the face of adversary and saying, let's just make the big dreams happen. You know, and I know I'm kind of oversimplifying, and I know that it takes time, effort, money, resources, whatever, in order to do that. But again, if you wallow in the shadows, you will manifest the shadows. But this house is not in the shadows, you know. Even the Tower is not in the shadows. The sky is clear. Remember, blue signifying truth and intuition. You know this had to happen. You know this change had to occur. Okay? It had to, because it couldn't have been any other way. Can I be more, you know, annoying? It had to be that way because it couldn't have been any other way. And for those of you who believe in karma and who believe in past lives and who believe in coming to life with a purpose, you know, for those of you who believe that, that Tower situation was sort of predetermined for you. You know, it was something that you had to go through. It was something that you came to this world to learn. And now, 8 of Cups, you're moving away. You are leaving the shadows and heading into the light. Okay? The shadows are on your back, literally. You're heading into the sun. Okay? So, I think some of you aren't seeing the sun so clearly, maybe. Maybe you are under dreaming or under imagining. You know, maybe some of you are imagining things a little bit too practically. You're not being big enough or grand enough. You know, and I think that there is an essence of bigness here. Let's shoot for the stars because we just may hit the moon kind of concept, right? So let's shoot for the stars here, because you just may land on the moon. And that's so much further than where you are today. And so I would get out your little dream pad or your journal or your vision board or whatever and start setting those goals. you know, and start the new year off with something substantive. Let's give you something to work for, you know, and something to look forward to. My God, let's give you something to look forward to. Ace of Wands, you have that control, you have that power in you to make it happen. I think 2017, there were a lot of shadows. And the Lovers. Wow, I mean, look, for those of you who want love, well, here it is. For those of you who want that connection, well, here it is, 100%. And it is in your control, okay? It is in your mind. And, you know, again, like I said before with the Sun, you must understand the shadows in order to understand the light. Well, here we have the black and the white, the masculine and the feminine. One soul and another soul. Soulmates. Twin flames. You know, I don't know. Those concepts are hard for me. But for those who believe in that, you know, and I believe those types of connections absolutely do exist. I have a hard time with the concept of the longevity there, but I do believe in that sense of wholeness that we experience when we come across that type of other person. But it also is reflective of how we feel inside, right? As above, so below. So it's not just that we get to fulfill those voids through someone else, but that we must also fulfill those voids within ourselves. In order to fulfill a sense of completeness on the outside, we must be complete on the inside. Okay, so it goes both ways. There's an internal, there's this coming together of two souls and our own minds and hearts. Okay, and this is the spirit. This is the will, right? The swords represent the thoughts, the cups represent the emotions, right? The mind and the heart. The wands represent the spirit, okay? Represent the will and the motivation behind the thoughts and behind the emotion. And the pentacles represent what we get, represent the manifestation of those things, all right? So when all three of these things are together, we get what we set out to do, okay? And I think that you're perfectly capable of doing whatever it is you want and having the love that you want in your life and having that sense of wholeness and completion and that sense of purpose and all of that. You're perfectly capable of it, and here it is. And I think a lot of you are going to experience this sense of tightening up on the inside. Okay? And for those of you in committed relationships, you're going to experiencing a tightening up of that connection, okay, of all areas of life. It's not going to feel so loose-ended or so loosey-goosey, you know, but that there is this, okay, I know what I need to do now. And the Seven of Swords. There is a battle going on. It's the Sun versus the Ten of Pentacles. It's like, and you want to stare into the sunlight and you want to see, but then there's all these reasons not to, or there's all these things. That's, you know, self-sabotage. That's psyching yourself out. That's allowing your fears and your doubts to really get the best of you. You know, this is a picture of a scarecrow. And I'll tell you that this card has been making quite the appearance, all right, even with private readings too, that I think a lot of us are just kind of going through this period. It's brief, this period of just kind of self-doubt. But you know, and I think a lot of that also has to do with some of the external circumstances, right? The things that we experience because of I'm getting lost, because of circumstances, right? So things on the outside are kind of adding fuel to the fire, I think. You know, because some of you may have shady people in your life. Some of you may have, you know, relationships you're not really that into. Some of you may have reinforcements of some negative beliefs. Okay, but the reason you're getting those reinforcements in the first place is because you believe them in the first place. Does that make sense? So it's cyclical that way. And even a lot of you, like the perception of how you perceive this particular reading, whether you see this as a positive reading or a negative reading, it's really going to tell you a lot about your mindset, because of those of you who are like positive and feeling good, you're going to be like, oh, that was such a good reading. And others of you who are negative was like, oh, that was such a terrible reading. Jane is so negative. She's such a Nancy, you know, like negative Nancy or a Debbie Downer. But you know what, you guys, like that's kind of on you a little bit, how you perceive it to be, because I don't know, I feel that I'm sort of advocating positivity here. And I know, man, I gotta tell you, my annuals, they've been performing so poorly, and I was not expecting such a negative response to them, because I've had so many people, I deleted so many comments and have actually considered just taking those videos down, because oh my gosh, like people really wanted me to tell them that their whole lives are going to change in 2018. I don't know if they expect the Saturn transit to change their life, but like, my God, like I could not believe it. And like, again, I'll leave them up, but I was really considering taking them down just because of the response that I got. And I'm shocked, like just shocked that people think that I'm projecting out all of this negativity. And then I'm reviewing the reading. I'm like, I don't think that sounds negative at all. It's just like a life and flow of life, and we can't expect everything to be roses all the time. But you also don't have to experience the difficult times so in such a bad way. Like, use it as a positive thing, even if it's kind of a negative thing. It's fine, you know. I don't know. It was really strange. And you guys have the Chariot, you know, that card of victory. It's that coming together of black versus white, love versus power. It's a sense of equilibrium. And when your life hits a point of equilibrium, you charge forward at unprecedented amounts of momentum, right? And it's just like, boo, and you just go. And there's force behind that. This is a divine energy, right? It's from direct inspiration, direct from source or from the universe. So like, you have things, you just got to let things go. Four of Pentacles. You got to unload a little bit, you know, and just kind of allow yourself to feel less stuck. And yeah, it might be a little bit unsure right now with the moon. This is your card, Pisces. This is where you feel comfortable. You know, so if things are feeling a little unsure or feeling a little dim or dimly lit, sun reverse, you've got the moon up right now, but the sun is just right around the corner, you know, so as the moon sets, the sun will rise. It's going to be fine. It's all cyclical. We're living our life in cycles, you know. Let's see the green in our lives. Let's see the abundance, because abundance you do have. Okay? All right, Pisces. I wish you nothing but the best. Thank you all so much, and I will see you for February. Thanks.